Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Srinivani Pashtatade Shitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasani Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you so much for being here for our weekly Bhagavat program. We're so excited to have His Grace Jagannath Priya speaking to us today. We've been so fortunate that in the past year he has started to spend time here at Bhakti Center, and we're just so fortunate. Just like immediately upon meeting him, you feel just like so much care, actually. And he genuinely cares for everyone, and is genuinely everyone's well-wisher, and genuinely wants to help everyone in the devotional service. And he's a monk, a brahmachari, and he speaks on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. And his distinct focus is on the practical application of Krishna consciousness in individual and societal levels. So he attained a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and holds a dual master's degree in Sanskrit and yoga philosophy. And he is currently a research scholar at IIT Mumbai. He actually served, before he became a brahmachari, as the director of special effects for films and television. I didn't know that, Prabhu. That's so cool. I went to acting school. And for the past 25 years, he has dedicated his life to the community in Mumbai and Thane, and actively involved in various initiatives for children, youth, families, and more. And he serves in congregations at various parts of Europe, US, and East Asia as well. And he's associated with ISKCON in Mumbai and Bhakti Center in New York, and is a disciple of Radha Swami, very senior disciple of Radha Swami. He told me something interesting some months ago. He was here for some time, like a couple weeks, and he was like, this is the longest place I've been. Like, normally I don't stay at a place more than 5 days. He just travels, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so vata, like I can't even imagine traveling every 5 days for years and years and years. And it's because he's so deeply immersed in Krishna consciousness that Krishna empowers him in very special ways. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Prabhu. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Hare Krishna. So nice to see all of you. I'm so happy to be here at Bhakti Center, which is my home now.
Joy!
If Champaka and all others agree. We do.
And you didn't agree to
So before we begin the discussion, let us offer our humble obeisances and prayers to the teachers, because of whom we have received this divine knowledge. Please join me, my friends. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Parikamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarujyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare this topic for a while, which happens to be one of the 10 topics which are discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the second canto, in the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10 topics are described. One of them is Poshanam, which is the protection by the Lord. So this question is coming because Parikshit Maharaj has some queries about in his journey of life, an accomplished person facing a sense of disillusionment. And Shukdev Goswami then explains what Bhagavatam is all about. So Srimad Bhagavatam has been largely considered one of the Puranas, and the nature of Puran or Puranic literature is that people in the philosophic domain don't take it too seriously. They take the Upanishads more seriously. They take anything which is of the format of a sutra like Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutras, those kind of things they take seriously. Why? Because Puranas have a lot of stories, lot of emotional discharge, exhibition of emotions. And this is why Shukdev Goswami in the beginning itself he explains that although Srimad Bhagavatam discussion may have a lot of characters, may have a lot of stories, may have a lot of emotions, these emotions are not of the nature of ordinary emotions. In the philosophic domain, people do not value emotions much because in the general course of life we have seen that emotions just drift us away from one thing to other. And over a period of time, having driven away by many emotions, let's say 10 years later, 20 years later, let's say 10 years later, 20 years later, most of us, although we may be also happy with our lives, we are not fully nourished. We don't feel a deep sense of accomplishment or satisfaction. And that is why anything to deal with emotions raises a red flag for a spiritual practitioner. And because a lot of Puranas have so many such kind of stories, it is natural for ordinary people to feel that emotions exhibited by the Lord and His devotees are probably similar in nature to what we exhibit with people around us. And therefore, then what is the value of those emotions if they are just like us? And just to differentiate that these emotions are not exactly like ours, Shukdev Goswami speaks that there are 10 topics in the Bhagavatam, and he speaks about creation and sub-creation and the principles and so on, just to make the reader feel or the listener to make him realize that this is not one of the emotional topics when we talk about love and nourishment and so on. Not the emotional topic in the sense of mundane emotions. And therefore this word Poshanam comes. Poshan is basically defined in this verse as protection. Poshanam tad anugraha. So protection is defined as what? It is receiving the mercy of the Lord. Now this word itself requires some explanation, for which I'll be speaking some few stories. I have to speak till time? 12:30. 12:30, okay. So, protection by itself refers to a sense of security which we feel within ourselves, which is not always just externally given. For example, let's say I promise you that I will protect you in this place. You can come and stay here. But while you are here, if I do not behave well with you, although you have a place, although you have a room for yourself, although you may be given your breakfast, lunch and dinner on time, but if I am not behaving well with you, you will not feel secure in the place. So protection is not just the external part of what I give to you. Protection essentially is what you feel within yourself in my presence. So protection is not a principle which is just externally given. For example, the society may say, today in New York there is a lot of discussion of giving protection and shelter to the migrants, illegal migrants. So the state is offering some protection, but let's say the state provides some food, clothing, shelter, and after a while it does not give some sense of dignity and occupation. People are going to revolt, right? Because protection is something which is felt integrally by us, not by a sense of external promises, however great that may be. So that we need to understand first. It is only because we do not truly feel protected in life that we keep traveling, we keep relocating, not just in the physical sense. The relocations are not physical, they are emotional relocations. People travel for jobs, people shift their homes, people change their relationships and all. This journey which you keep doing in your life is essentially trying to find a sense of security or a sense of protection. So when the Lord speaks about protection, he is trying to define, the acharyas are trying to define what exactly is the nature or what is the form of the protection. So externally protection or poshanam can of course mean food, clothing, shelter and some place where you can stay. But then it extends furthermore. You need an intellectual nourishment, you need emotional nourishment, you need a full sense of security within your heart. And that is why I have just put in bracket protection, nourishment and protection. Otherwise, in the sense of the English word, you may feel that these two are two different things. But when you see that sense of the word portion means whatever is required. So think from that sense that suppose you love someone. The external protection is what you will naturally give. Of course, you will try to do that. But you do a little bit more than that. You try to nourish that relationship with your presence, with your valid presence. Not just I am present around, moving around, but present in a meaningful way, in a purposeful way, in a way someone feels integrated in life with that person. So this portion refers to that. And anugraha, this word specifically refers to causeless mercy. We could translate like that. This is because a living entity, when he is traveling in the journey of 8.4 million species of life, there is no single situation where he will feel himself absolutely balanced or equipoised by himself. It is not possible. That's the nature of existence itself, physical existence. It makes you strive, it makes you confused. And this confusion is not just yesterday in the evening program, one person was saying how to make sense of things when we have so many loans and debts to pay and this and that, how to exactly feel the presence of the spirit soul and so on. Right? It's the nature of this existence. Now this is not for those who are just in debts. Speak to billionaires, they have the same issue. What to do next? What exactly to do? Sometimes when people don't have any external problems, let's say your food, clothing and shelter is taken care of, then you have mental problems. You have issues with small little things which people keep doing. Why he looked at me like this? Today he didn't, let's say no one abused it, but he just did not give you a warm expression. Like, I must say this, Champaka Devi, she's very warm in giving expressions when someone comes to the temple. If you have come to the Thursday night kirtans, they receive very well. And one time, just last visit I was here, after 2 days I entered the hall, we had already met, and the way she received me, I felt as if I am coming for the first time. She's so warm in that. You may get addicted to that behavior, and some other week she is not offensive towards you, but she just did not give that level of smile or warm welcome, and you just start thinking, why did she do this? When you have no problems in life, you start concocting life. That's what I'm trying to say. When you have no physical problems in life, you mentally start picking issues, which are no real issues in life. I'm sorry,
It's okay, no worries.
you don't have a pressure to keep smiling. Next time I can. I'm just saying.
I want to.
So this problem is not only for those who are poor or who are just not fully accomplished. Even when you are fully accomplished, you have issues. You will always have issues. And this is because we truly haven't felt the protection by the Lord. In a way, the Lord has given us protection. Let's say externally we haven't manufactured any part of our intelligence or the body, but still it keeps seamlessly running. But still that's not enough, because we don't feel it. And that is why this science. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the beginning itself, when Parikshit Maharaj comes to Shukdev Goswami, he is very impressed because he wants to, a highly accomplished person is now asking meaningful questions. And therefore he says, Shrutabhyani Rajendra Nrinam Shanti Sahasra Shaha Apashyatam Atmatatvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. He says that my dear king, he is impressed with him. Just for the sake of getting some sense of security in life, or let's say the feeling of feeling protected, ensuring our security, we keep, as I said, we keep traveling, we keep discussing so many things constantly. What is the best form of entertainment? What is the best form of food available? Who is the best person? Who is the most reliable thing? And so on. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, in this verse he is classifying two kinds of people. Those who do not understand Atma Tattva, means the concept of the soul, and those who understand Atma Tattva. Those who do not understand what the soul is, what life is all about truly, they are constantly engaged in many various kinds of discussions. Sahasrasha. They have too many, thousands and thousands and thousands of topics to discuss, which eventually lead nowhere. After 20, 30 years, you have the same things going on. It does not lead anywhere. But those who understand the science of the soul, Atma Tattva, those people, they are wiser, and they converge all these various kinds of discussions and topics to one single point of focus. That is the science of the soul and connecting it with the Lord. Now Parikshit Maharaj is such a king that he comes from a very accomplished family. Having been so powerful himself, all of you who know the story that he was cursed to die, it was not that he did not have the ability to deny the curse. He had that ability. He could have just shrugged it off. He could have counter-cursed. Yet he accepted, because he knew that these kind of things will eventually keep happening in some way or the other. Death has to come in one way or the other. So now he's thinking that how am I going to deal with these inevitable situations in life? And therefore he comes specifically just to understand the topics on these aspects from the perspective of the soul and not just the body. not just as a king. Therefore, it is very significant that he gives up his robes of the king and then comes as one of the very, very ordinary persons in that discussion. Because he did not want a bias to happen in that assembly of sages. Let's say, if in this assembly a billionaire comes here right now, it creates a pressure on the speaker naturally. Or amongst all of you, a bias will be created, oh, this guy is a really, really big guy. So that bias should not happen in the flow of discussions of the spiritual topics. He first of all took out his own position. He came out of his own position by removing his robes and not coming in the mood of an emperor there. A similar situation happens in the discussion in the third canto of Bhagavatam about Vidur. Vidur is another person who has been advisor to the king for a very long time. And being the personal advisor of the king, obviously he had all the facilities of the kingdom. He had power, he had influence, he had everything. For that matter, there was not a single situation where he would feel unprotected. The best part of Vidur's position was that even just before the Mahabharata war, I assume you all know a little bit about it. Because this is a Bhagavat Sravana class, I am speaking in the manner of Bhagavatam. In the Mahabharata war, his physical position was secured by being in Hastinapur, which was perceived to be the winning side by default. Yet at the same time, he was also in very good terms with the Pandavas. So in any case, whoever would win the war, his position of being the advisor to the king was assured. Please understand this. His position was secure in all matters. There was no threat to his position with the change of management. In a typical organization or company, when the management changes, everybody gets scared. Who will get fired? So his position is secure either ways. And still, despite all of that situation, he feels that something is just not happening right. And therefore, he decides not to participate in the war and instead go to the north, which is the Himalayas. As he goes there, he meets a devotee of the Lord, Uddhav. And he starts with all the various discussions. Now just see, Vidur is just not like an ordinary person like all of us. Let's say, we do not really know how the economy of New York runs. We do not know how the economy of the world runs. Okay. So probably if we get that position, we may spend a few years understanding, oh, is this how it runs? I was just thinking that my little taxes are making the society run. No, it's not there. There are so many other things. So you may have so many things to discuss in that manner. How does the fashion industry work? How the bars and the pubs work? How the civic functioning works and so on. Vidur is already an administrator. He is an advisor to the king. So basically he understands more about the kingdom than the king because he is the advisor to the king. One who is the advisor, he has information of so many subjects in detail and in summary he gives that to the king. So an advisor to the king has nothing else to be known as far as the functioning of the society is concerned. And when such a person gets disillusioned, that's a significant thing. With all forms of security, as I said, his position is secure. So he goes and he speaks to Uddhav, Tasya Prapanna Akhila Lokapalam. He's trying to define what is the nature of the Lord. Lord is one. See, Vidur, being the advisor to the king, they are always discussing about how the subjects of the society should be well nourished, well protected, and the society should function nicely. And now it has come to the point that society is not going to function nicely. There is a war situation. No king or administrator wants war because this shifts so many equations. It's too much of management to again start a new society and so on. So he's thinking that we were kind of protectors for the kingdom of Hastinapur, but we have failed. But there are many protectors like us in different constituencies, different parts of the world. There are some protectors who are demoniac, some who are like devotees. Like Ravan was a demoniac protector. He protected his kingdom, but he was demoniac in nature. Hiranyakashipu, a demoniac protector. So therefore, here it's a very significant word, Prapanna Akhila Lokapalam. In this whole world, there are many kinds of protectors, but amongst them, those who are Prapanna, those who are surrendered to you, amongst the various protectors of the world, those who are surrendered to you, and you who specifically do not need to move anywhere for your protection or any activity. As I discussed in the beginning, we keep moving because we want some kind of security. People within temples also, they keep moving many times. Or sometimes devotees, they are fed up of something and they just also move on. They feel, I don't feel nourished anymore. You cannot remain in an unnourished state, so you keep moving. So here, an interesting aspect is described. Lord is such a person who does not need to do anything for that matter, because he is fully nourished by himself. Still, that great person has appeared in an ordinary family of Yadu dynasty. Vartam Sakhe Kirtaya Tirtha Kirte. So please tell me about that person. Vidur is speaking. That the person who gives protections to the protectors of the world. I need to know about him. And the word here, Tirtha Kirte, is also very significant. Tirtha Kirte means one who is glorified in the, in the holy places. So what is so special about that? See, this material creation, many different kinds of things are glorified in many different places. So each place has a value because of that. The Lord is also glorified for His material things which He supplies to the world. The Vedic literatures are full of that. There are a lot of yajnas and thanking God for the sun and moon and this and that, so many things. But there is one kind of place where only spiritual people or personalities are glorified, that is holy place. In the material places, spiritual people are also glorified and material people are also glorified. But in the spiritual place, only spiritual people are glorified. Today there is no value to holy places because even in India, the government is thinking to build up religious tourism. So the value of a holy place is now connected to the economy. Please understand this. The government or the rulers of the world do not understand that there must be a place or a holy place which shouldn't be measured by its economic value. When a holy place is measured by its economic value, then what difference is it going to make to the people who just travel to the holy places? For example, in Vrindavan, which is a place of Krishna, one time we were doing Govardhan Parikrama and we saw a big board, Radha Golf Course. People are buying place there. There are helipads. There are all kinds of foods available. Good hotels, 5-star hotels with swimming pools. Now, if that becomes a marketing of the place, you see, associating a holy place with an economic structure. Of course, it has to be part of the economic structure, but that economic structure cannot be the face of it. So this word specifically means Tirtha Kirtan means when people used to come those days to holy place, they used to come only exclusively to hear about the Lord or to genuinely seek some shelter or protection from something exclusive which they are not getting in their civil society. Otherwise, what is the point of going to the holy place? If my habits, my food habits are going to remain as it is, if my external behavior is going to remain as it is for those 10 days or for that 1 month, my internal emotional greed, lust, anger, envy, whatever is just going to remain that way, then what is the point of going there in the holy place? Holy places today are facilitating, okay, no matter what your habits are, come, we will take care of your habits, we will pamper you. Holy places are also becoming a hospitality industry. That's why this word religious tourism. Few years ago it was not the case. And that's why this word comes, Tirtha Kirte. Someone who is glorified in holy places which are not places where it's all about glorification of economy and beauty and wealth and so on. So where there is no glorification of economy, beauty, wealth and so on, what is value of such people? There is no value, right? If today you are not beautiful, you don't have wealth, you don't have intelligence, there is no value for you here in New York. But then there is some place like that, if you have wisdom. Here wisdom doesn't matter. If your wisdom is going to run the economy, then there is no problem. But if you have a wisdom of detachment, you are a no one. Nobody cares. But there are some exclusive places which are what is called as holy places. So therefore it is described, it's difficult for someone to be glorified if you do not have these qualities, correct? And therefore they are describing Krishna is such a person that he is glorified even without these qualities. And that is what is called Tirtha Kirtan. That one who is glorified in the places of pilgrimage. It's a very interesting word. Now in the journey of life, Vidur and so many others have seen good things happen, bad things happen and so on. They haven't yet figured out that exactly when the good happens, can you exactly say that it is good? And when the bad happens, can you exactly tell that it's exactly bad? Nothing else. It's difficult. So in the 6th canto, in the story of Chitraketu Maharaj, Parvati speaks this. She is telling this to Chitraketu. Guna pravaha etasmin kaha shapaha ko nu anugraha. She says in this grand journey of life, so life is compared to streams of, just like in an ocean you have various streams of, there's a lot of different kinds of waves which come. Similarly, life has waves of mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance and its combinations. So we are being swept, we are constantly swimming and getting overwhelmed in these waves, in this journey of life. So guna pravaha etasmin, in this intense waves of different kinds of emotions which we are getting, it is so difficult to determine what exactly is an unfortunate situation and what exactly is a fortunate situation. For example, in my little journey of life so far, I have seen that I have been disappointed so many times. And I have also seen that I have felt blessed so many times. However, interesting is, many times when I have felt blessed, after a couple of years I have just realized that that exactly didn't work. It was a curse. Many times it has happened. And many times it has happened that that which seemed to be a curse or an unfortunate situation, after a couple of years I realized, after a few years you realize that if that situation wouldn't have happened, I would have not taken this course and today I would not have been what I am. So sometimes when some situation strikes in your life, you do feel very unfortunate and as if people or the nature or the environment has been unfair. But a couple of years later, you suddenly come to know that, oh, that situation led me somewhere and today I am because of what happened. So how do you realize at any given point of time what exactly is an unfortunate situation or what is not an unfortunate situation? You cannot. And that's why it's a very important verse here. What has happened with Chitraketu? This fellow, he was a king. He had 10 million wives, none of whom could give a child. And then he got, by mercy of some sadhus, he could then impregnate one of his wives and then he got a child. All the other wives felt insecure, they felt that now this main queen will take the position. So all of them conspired to kill that one baby who came after long. In short, he got disillusioned, he got frustrated. So Angira and Narad Rishi, they came and they delivered him from his frustration and gave him the spiritual knowledge. Having received that spiritual knowledge, he realized that if that unfortunate situation wouldn't have happened, I would have not been here. And today what I got was because of that seed of that unfortunate situation. Right? So these reflections are coming that manner. After receiving that opportunity, he saw Lord Shiva and Parvati sitting close to each other, and then he laughed at them. That, oh, a person who understands spiritual science, why are they so romantic? And again he got cursed. So then Chitraketu is then confused. That's where these verses come. It's very difficult to exactly understand what is a fortunate situation, what is an unfortunate situation. Sometimes you are in a fortunate situation, but that gives you pride, that brings arrogance, and then that becomes the reason for your fall and greater loss. And sometimes, when you get those good situations, you feel lucky. I'm very lucky, I'm blessed, I got this. And sometimes, in an unfortunate situation, you feel humiliated, but that leads to a great thing. And therefore, this verse comes. Kaha shapaha, kono anugraha. What is unfortunate and what is blessing, how do you really know? Kaha swargo, what is heaven? And kaha narko, what is hell? How do you really know? Kim sukham dukham evava. What is truly happiness and what is truly distress? What classifies exactly as happiness and what classifies exactly as distress? It's difficult to understand. See, this brings a sense of an understanding for any person who is a spiritual practitioner to have these things defined. What Bhagavatam is trying to do is trying to redefine these things. Don't base your happiness based on what you think is your happiness, and don't base your distress based on what you think is distress. Don't base your unfortunate and fortunate situations based on your sensory perceptions. That's the essence of what is being taught before the main subject is being going to be discussed. And this is not just a philosophical treatise. That's why I said we have seen in our own lives these kind of things. I'll just tell you something. When I was doing my, when I finished my high school and I had to choose whether to get in the field of commerce or engineering, at that time I wanted to get in, I wanted to become like a chartered accountant. What do they call here? CPAs? Yeah. And it's a bit tough.
Yeah,
So my father told me, don't do CPA, because CA, there it's called CA, because it requires too much of studies. And you don't like to study. But I said, no, I wanted to challenge myself. I said, I want to do that. And many of my close friends also, they joined the CA. They wanted to pursue CA, so they joined the commerce stream. And I got a bit delayed and I didn't get admission there because I missed the deadlines for applying for forms. And I was then helplessly forced to get into engineering. But within 1 year I just realized, I was sad for 1 year because all my friends were there. But when I would see them studying, I realized that this was good. But I missed that deadline. But when I missed that deadline, it was very painful. Another situation was when I was when I had joined temple in Chopati. At that time, I was so hardwired that I do not want to leave the temple at all. I will be doing some worship and doing some services in the temple. Who wants to go out? We do kirtans, programs, prasad, everything is there. I didn't want to get out of the campus itself. And within the first week itself, my services were bringing sabjis for the kitchen, so go out early morning for shopping, bring flowers for the deities, so I had to go out. And I would almost miss the morning program for 4 days in a week, just doing this. And then the senior preachers would take me along to distant places to preach along with them. So literally I had just one morning program. I have never had 7 days morning program, only I had here in Bhakti Center. So I was just there that way. And then I wanted to just help in the administration of the temple and running of the temple and so on. But one of the senior, he felt that no, we should be out, you should be a little bit outside. You can do service here, but do outreach and so on. And I was so miserable for first year. So miserable, and in my heart, honestly, I would curse that fellow. Like, he's such a political person. That was what I used to think. That he's not allowing me to do what I want to do, or he is prejudiced. I used to think all of that. He was not like that. He would tell me that, I know your mind, I understand what you can do better, please do this. We need help. But I was so hardwired that way. Eventually it happened that as I started doing services, I realized that I felt more nourished in those things. And when I would go to the temple after 3-4 days, I would feel so bored being in the temple. Not that I didn't like the temple. I would feel there is nothing much to do here, there are no challenges here, nothing. Everything is on time, things are happening okay. I started liking the other part. And in fact, I'm not saying that that's true for everyone, I'm just giving my perspective. What I thought was not suitable for me became the foundation for my own spiritual practices so far. It was so nourishing. Not the sense of travels. Travels is very boring, honestly. It's very disturbing if you have to travel a lot. However, eventually, I was just traveling for the sake of services and then where the most important services are required and so on. It became very satisfying in itself. Irrespective of what others felt, I was very much nourished. So it's so difficult in your own life, try to find these things. How many times have you made mistakes in judging situations? Everyone must have done ample mistakes. And I am so sure about one thing. Whenever I am very convinced that this is exactly what's good for me, I know that this is exactly not what's good for me. It may be good for me, but if you say that exactly I know what, that means you exactly don't really know. That's what conditioned intelligence is all about. So bring down that ego. So therefore it's important to understand how do we understand that we are getting nourished? What are the symptoms of that nourishment and what would be the practices for nourishment? Very interesting story which comes, I cannot discuss these stories at length, but I am just giving a few insights. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 8th canto, in the episode of Bali Maharaj, do all of you know about Vamandev and Bali Maharaj? The dwarf incarnation. So it's a very beautiful story. Vaman appears to Bali, who has won over all the 3 planetary systems. And he comes as a Brahmana. It was the nature of the kings of those days that you give the Brahmana whatever he likes. And by the conception of what a person can conceive, they would ask within their own limits. It was always like that. If today a billionaire comes to you and says, ask what do you want, most of us will ask about 10, 20 billion. Because probably that's what we can conceive. That's what I can conceive. It will be difficult for us to ask a billion. Let's say some billionaire comes here and says, I want to give a donation. Most of us will say, okay, we have that place there. Or screen, which has 150, 51, 21 dollars. But then guy says, no, I want to give a billion. We won't even know how to respond to that word. Because we have not conceived what that wealth is. So the kings who would rule the world, they knew that ordinary people cannot conceive what wealth is. So they will not ask something which is beyond them. Like a little child, if it gets one ice cream a week and you say, now I'll give you whatever you want. What do you want? It will say, I want 10 ice creams. It won't say 1,000 ice creams because it does not conceive what 1,000 means. But it will say, I want 10. You get me? Similarly, we cannot ask what we cannot conceive of. So the kings would be asking the Brahmanas, ask what you want. Whatever you want, I'll give. Because they knew that they cannot ask beyond their limits. And Brahmana used to say, I need 1,000 cows, I need 100 cows, I need this much land for my ashram and so on. So here this Brahmana came. Bali said to the king, when the king said, I will give you whatever you want. Bali said, are you sure? Now that was a disturbance to the ego of the king. What, will you doubt me? I'm the king. How can I not be able to give what you want, what an ordinary Brahmana wants? He says, okay, take a vow. Again, there was a challenge to the ego. Are you challenging me? Kind of. So he takes a vow. I will give you whatever you ask. So he says, I just want 3 steps of, I want land enough that can cover my 3 steps. So Bali Maharaj said, that's fine, ask something more, because he looked at this little short fellow with little legs. How much land that can cover? He said, ask something more. He said, no. Just promise that you'll give me my 3 foot. And as soon as he took the promise, with the first step, he expanded himself, and you know the story. He took over the earth, he took over the other planetary systems. And then he said, now my 3rd step still remains. What is that you own? Now you cannot give a donation through someone else, right? Like you go somewhere, someone asks for donation, and you say, oh Krishna, please give him $1,000, I promised him. That doesn't work. Donation has to be yours. So what is yours which you can give? And believe you, I have nothing else. And then he bows at the lotus feet of the Lord and he says, my dear Lord, all that is left is just me. Is taken. And Vaman just wanted to, he came to deliver him essentially. To set up the principle. That there is actually nothing that you own except that the idea that you own. As long as you give up that idea, it's all fine. So when he offered himself and Vamandev put his feet on the head of Bali Maharaj, at that time, all the devatas, the demigods had assembled. Even Brahma came because those feet which are worshipped by the greatest of the people have been just bestowed upon an ordinary king who has not done great tapasya or austerities for the mercy of the Lord. So everyone is overwhelmed. The news goes to Prahlad, who is serving in another lower planetary system. Prahlad is Bali Maharaj's grandfather. So Prahlad comes to see that someone in my lineage is about to get delivered by the special mercy of the Lord. So he comes and then he intervenes. He says, my dear Lord. So as soon as Bali Maharaj Vamandev puts his feet on Bali Maharaj, the agents of God, they come and they tie him. because Bali was actually an asura, right? So all this while he has defeated many demigods and offended many others also. So they come and bind him. Now we have this opportunity, just tie him. We have to justice. We have to seek revenge and justice. So Prahlad Maharaj comes and says, my dear Lord, he needs to be released because he has taken shelter of you. Nobody is able to understand, but I can see that you have specifically come to deliver. Just like I was delivered by Narsimdev. And then Brahma, he also comes. And Brahma supports Prahlad. See, there is no debate here, but they start making an appeal. Brahma starts also appealing, yes, my dear Lord, what Prahlad is saying is true. Bali has attained perfection. He offered himself, despite his own Guru Shukracharya telling that you will lose everything if you give this vow to this little fellow. He has offered everything. In the lines of Prahlad, Prahlad's father did not want Prahlad to be surrendered to Vishnu. And he denied his father. This person denied his Guru, just to please you. What else is required? So please release him. So at that time, this verse comes. Janma karma vayo rupa vidya aishwarya dhanadibihi yadasya na bhavet stambhas tatrayam mat anugraha. Very beautiful verse. Lord explains that it is not that now I have to deliver this person. It is not that now he is bound and then I have to now release him from this bondage. No, it's not that. This person, Bali, although he is born in a very great family of Asuras, being in the lineage of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad, it's a very big thing, right? Extraordinarily powerful. So if someone is born in a great family or is highly accomplished, does expert work, Vayo Rupa, Karma Vayo. Vayo means when you are young, you can accomplish many things. So if you have lot of skills and talents and you have done so many good things in your young time, or you are very attractive, Rupa, Vidya, you have great wisdom, Aishwarya, you have great opulence, all these kind of things. If despite having all of these things, Yadi asya na bhavet stambhas, if you do not become stambha means it's like a feeling stunned, or metaphorically this word stunned means you feel so egoistic about yourself. Egoistic people are, I have achieved something. So that is called stambhas. If by having all these extraordinary things, still you do not get overcome by pride, then should be understood that such a person has received my mercy. So, Vaman Dev is trying to say, you are telling that I should be merciful to him, this fellow has already received mercy. Otherwise he could have not done this. That's the point. So in the beginning we discussed what was that? Poshanam tat anugraha. What is mercy? This is a very unfortunate situation, right? Having attained the three worlds, somebody just took it in 2 steps. So what is fortune and what is misfortune? What is blessing, what is curse? We are coming to the verse earlier. So the Lord is redefining this. Someone with all these qualities, it's for all of us, we should always remember this. We keep praying, we keep coming to the temple and say, my dear Lord, please be merciful, please be merciful. Get me a good job, get me this, get me this, get me this, get me that. And sometimes you get it. And then you still keep praying, my dear Lord, please be merciful. This is now what mercy you got. Now I don't know what to do. I am not feeling nourished, so be merciful. That's problem in rich societies. So for all of us, it's a very good verse to meditate. After having attained all of this, if you can still remain modest, humble, graceful, that itself is the form of the mercy of the Lord. Mercy of the Lord is not a kind of a magic that you start feeling something. It's the beginning of these things. Otherwise, this verse would not have come into picture. Another verse which comes in this discussion, what is the form of mercy of the Lord? So, person who actually receives the mercy or he is feeling nourished can do such kind of things. In the pastimes of Nalakuber and Manigriv, in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are cursed by Narad Muni to be born as trees for a very long millennium. And then Krishna appears and delivers them. And then he says, my dear Narad Muni, I remember, he says, my dear Nalakuber and Manigriva, I remember very well. Jnatam mama puraivat vaitar. I remember everything right from the beginning of creation and what has happened to you also. That you were born in a highly rich and aristocratic family, but because of your arrogance, you got cursed by Narad. And although you fell from a higher planet of Swargaloka and became trees, you were favored by him, most favored by him. Isn't that interesting? So what is mercy of the Lord? Being chastised by a great devotee who is not envious of us, who cares for us, and who gives some suggestions or instructions for our betterment, is the form of mercy. Instead of feeling offended, I like this person, he's so nice, and someday he did not behave well with me or he corrected me, I felt, oh my God, he's now finding faults in me. No. Okay, it could be that there is someone who is envious of you and only wants to find faults, but we are not talking of those people. Narad was not such a person, right? Narad Muni had nothing, he was not feeling that, oh my God, I was thinking to enjoy these women and you are enjoying, you have taken my girls. That was not Narad. He was just thinking that this guy has done so much, both of these boys, Nalakuber and Manigriv, the demigods, the sons of Kuber, the finance minister of the gods. They are just frivolous. Instead of taking this opulence and wealth to raise their standard of life, they are just falling down in something mundane. So when someone who is non-envious of you, who cares for you, or rather, if that person does not have any ulterior motive to achieve anything by offending you in some way, we should not feel offended. Instead, we should take that as a mercy. At least we should not fool ourselves to deny such opportunities. Today is such a time, never imagine, in the scriptures we read about how the devotees, the disciples would always feel sometimes happy if the spiritual master chastised them for some correction or something. They would consider it as blessing, not just metaphorically. They would understand that this will lead to better things. Today is not the time. It's a very difficult time. We see preaching all the time. Even when we have to offer some suggestions to someone, we have to just think 100 times. This person is not ready to listen, but the problem is just this. But I cannot tell. The ego will get hurt. They'll get offended. And therefore, even the teachers or those who love and care, they cannot speak. Even parents cannot tell anything to the children today. Even the loving parents cannot tell anything to the children. Can you believe what an unfortunate situation? So therefore, he says that you guys receive the mercy in the form of a curse. So mercy in the form of external things is understood. It's okay. You got basic food, clothing, shelter. But welfare is not about that. Welfare is also about internal experience and transformation. So I'll end with this beautiful episode. Beautiful bhakti. Pareshanu bhava viraktir annatra cha ishatrika eka kala. When a person truly receives the mercy of the Lord, three things happen simultaneously. Devotion, that is bhakti. Para isha anubhava, direct perception, direct experience of the truth. And virakti, detachment. It's not that I'll be detached and then I'll experience love. These three things happen simultaneously. So we should not be mistaken that artificially or like just thinking emotionally that oh now I'm doing a lot of bhakti in the sense of volume and therefore it is I have now advanced. No. In fact, bhakti is not coupled with a natural sense of detachment. Virakti means you no longer feel even the stress of attractions. Sometimes. So there are detachment has two forms. One is you see something and you recognize, oh, I am getting attracted, but I won't do it. So that's a stress. But one thing is you see that or you get an opportunity and you don't feel disturbed at all. That is one reason. The natural sense of letting go, that is called virakti. So direct experience of the truth, devotion to the Lord and the natural sense of detachment, these three things happen simultaneously. And the beautiful example is given, just as when we eat food, the pangs of hunger, the joy of eating and getting the nutrients and nourishments, proteins, vitamins and all, those three things happen simultaneously. So first I eat food, then I'll like it and then, no, these three things work simultaneously. So in that sense, the devotional service is explained in that manner, that it has to be performed in such a manner. And as long as you are able to do this, this itself is the form of mercy. This itself is the form of protection. So the Lord is therefore describing two sadhakas or devotees. Be firmly situated in your practice. Do not be egoistic. Be kind. Have the mentality of let go. If you have these three things, you will naturally feel the sense of nourishment. Otherwise, it's just an ambitious journey. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gopal ki jai. Can we take any questions or I think we have
Until he does the Kangsha.
Okay. We'll take one short question if someone has or a comment.
It's time.
Okay, it's time. Very good.
Thank you so much. What we can do now is move the red cushions to the side and all come forward to dance and chant together at our team. Thank you so much. Oh.
Hare Rama,
His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर धाम की जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की जय तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय सामवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की Nitai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gaura.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
you all so much again for being here for our Bhagavat Sravana. This happens every single Sunday, so please come. And next Sunday we have Shubh Vilas Prabhu coming to speak for all of us. He's a really incredible speaker. He'll be speaking on rising in love. And then we also have some special festivals coming up soon here as well. We have the anniversary of the installation of our Gaurachandra deity, and it's also the first day of Kartik, and that's going to be on Saturday, October 28th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. And then we also have on Diwali, which is on Sunday, November 12th from 5 to 9 p.m. Jagannath Priya will also be speaking that morning for the Bhagavat Sravana. And then we'll have the festival that evening. And then Govardhan Puja is on November 13th. And also we have the next module of Bhakti Shastri coming. The schedule is Sri Upanishad starts November 4th if you're interested in joining that. All the information is on our website. And if you don't get what I'm looking at, the temple newsletter, you can sign up by going to our website, bhakticenter.org, and scrolling down to the bottom and clicking on Join Our Temple Newsletter. Thank you all so much. We have a beautiful prasadam lunch served for you all in the back, so please stay, leave a donation if you can, and associate with each other. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.